Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well. So today I'm going to throw on a new rear sprocket. I'm still trying to figure out the correct gearing now that I've got the big bore kit in. I've gone through 3 different sprockets. I started off, of course, with the stock 15 tooth sprocket. Then I went down to the 14 tooth sprocket to get a little more of that bottom end. Once I put on the big bore kit though, I went to a 16 tooth front sprocket to stay more in the RPM band. But 16 feels a little too tall in the front. And in some of the top speed runs I've done, I've only been able to get up to 76 miles an hour, and the engine's peaking out at about 8,000 RPM. So it seems that it's just too tall for the motor to push. Again, as I break it in, I'm sure it'll pick up a little more power, but in the interim, I wanted to dial it down a little bit, but not go all the way down to the 15 tooth front sprocket. So I'm going to change the rear gear from a 34 tooth to a 35 tooth to see if that isn't the sweet spot that I'm looking for. So I bought this off of eBay. It's from a company called Rebel Gears. It's actually made out of aluminum and it's really light. I'll take a look at what the weight differences are between the two. It also has, they said, speed holes. Unsprung weight makes a big difference. I don't know how much it'll make on this particular application. I assume that the stock gear is steel. Obviously it will last a lot longer. I'm sure this has a much shorter lifespan, but I think it'll be just fine. So I'm gonna get this on the bike. Once I do though, I'll have to do a couple of things. I'm hoping that my chain is the correct length and that I don't need a new chain. Assuming that the chain is good, I'll also have to go through the Takegawa speed adjuster to make sure that I'm getting a correct reading out of the odometer as compared to GPS. So I also updated my phone mount. I previously had a handlebar holder here that had the RAM mount that placed the phone horizontally and right about here. It looked good, but it was a little too far down in my eyesight and also didn't hold the phone quite the way that I wanted to. So I bought just a different assembly here to hold it to the 7/8 handlebar, and I really like where it puts the phone. I'll show you what it looks like from some different angles, but I think it doesn't take away too much from the bike the way that it's set up, and again where it puts the phone in my field of vision is right where I want it. So then here with the phone, again, just better, it's in my periphery. I'm not having to look down every time I'm trying to see what the numbers are showing. All right, and so finally, how much power this bike's making after I put on the 181 big bore kit. I never got a chance to check out how much power the 143 was making because I busted it before I really got it broken in. But the 181 kit, I have about 3 or maybe 350 miles on it now, and decided to take it down to the shop near my house, GP Bikes. They threw it on the dyno and finally got to see how much power it makes. So I'll overlay this on the screen, but it picked up almost exactly 1.5 horsepower and just over 3 foot-pounds of torque. The torque also is what you feel the most. I mean, the bike is very torquey now with the 181. If you look on this chart, the light colored lines are the foot-pounds of torque and the dark colored lines are the horsepower. So you can see that the torque picks up almost immediately. At 4,000 RPM, it shoots all the way almost up to its max and holds it there all the way to 7,000 RPM. So right in the most rideable range of the power band is where I'm making all of my torque. So anyway, pretty happy with these results, and the power curve looks exactly like I would have expected it to, given how much immediate torque the bike has now, again up until about 7,000 or 8,000 RPM. So anyway, from here I got to figure out what next to do. There are a couple other power mods that I have in mind. We'll see if those are things that I actually end up doing or not, but appreciate everybody's viewership. Thanks, and stay tuned for more videos.